everyone, and welcome back to Cooking with Suzanne. So as you can see, I've already been very busy this morning getting my mise en place ready for a delicious pot of soup. Looks like we have some cold weather ahead of us. There's nothing more perfect than a nice pot of soup. So let's get started. I have here 1 medium onion thinly sliced, 3 stalks of celery thinly sliced. I have 2 carrots thinly sliced. There's about 1 cup there. I have a half a head of cabbage. This is Savoy cabbage, which I really love. It's sweet and tender and delicious. And I would say about 8 to 10 ounces. And here I have 4 cloves of garlic, very finely minced. I also am going to put some potatoes in the soup, which these are very small yellow baby gold potatoes. And we're just going to cube them up, and I'm going to leave the skin on. I also have here a little bit of ham from the holidays, so I'm going to use it. There's about 4 ounces of baked ham. I have a little bunch of fresh thyme. And here I have about 4 slices of nice smoky bacon. So we'll start with that, which is about 4 to 5 ounces of bacon. I also have 1 leek here, and I just wanted to show you how you clean it. It's good to put your leek sliced and then put it in a bowl of cool water, and then you can just use a spider like this to pull all of your leeks out, and all of the dirt will be in the bottom of the bowl. So make sure you add plenty of water. I have here some frozen peas, which I am defrosting, and we will add that to the soup at the very end just to bring a little spring-like feel to the soup, and it adds sweetness too, and it goes wonderful. Ham and peas go really well together, so it'll be perfect. And we will finish it off with a little fresh scallion, and I do have a little bit of chili flakes here, which I always like to add a little bit in the soup, so about a half a teaspoon. Looks like I need to refill my jar. Okay, so here are all your ingredients. The peas I used about a half a bag. I think the frozen peas are about 13 ounces, so about half of that. And our ingredients are all set, and of course you need stock. You can either use chicken stock or veg stock, or you can even do half stock, half water. I would start with about 8 cups, and if you need more broth, you just add more to your soup. Okay, be back in a little bit to get started. Well, hello. So you saw all the ingredients that we need to make this delicious pot of soup. And I don't know about you, but when the cold winter months come, there is nothing I love more than a bowl of soup. And this is very hearty, perfect for an entree. Absolutely perfect with a small, simple salad and a loaf of bread. You are good to go. Okay, so let's get started. I have my pot here. You can either use, the first thing I did do is I browned the bacon. And I have it sitting on paper towel just to absorb any excess grease. And I always cook my bacon on low. And this way here you get rid of a lot more fat that way. So you can either use the fat that was left over in the pan to saute your vegetables, or you can use a good olive oil. We don't need to bring it to a smoking point, so you could use extra virgin if you really want to have that delicious flavor in your soup. So I'm going to go ahead and add some olive oil. Anywhere from a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons is perfect. And we will start. I'm just going to get my heat on medium. We will start with the sliced onions. And I did use a sweet onion here. Get our onions in. So we're starting with the mirepoix. The mirepoix of onions, celery, carrots, with the addition of a leek. So there's our onions. Now I will put in our sliced celery, which is 3 stalks, and a couple of thinly sliced carrots. So we'll start there. Let me just give this a little stir. And so we want to sweat the vegetables. We want to release the water from the vegetables. And a good way to do that is to add a little bit of kosher salt. That helps enhance the release of the water from the vegetables. So let's go ahead, about a half a teaspoon or so. As you know, I always use diamond kosher salt. Let's give that another stir. And now we can put in our leek as well. And you always want to salt your leeks immediately. This is one vegetable that you should salt right away. So I'm just going to take a little extra salt for the leeks. And give that a stir. And let this start to sweat while we cut our potatoes. I'll just move the bacon aside. And of course we can't forget our garlic, but I like to add the garlic towards the end. So let's just move the oil. And I have these small little potatoes, anywhere from 8 to 10 ounces, a half a pound or so. And they're pretty small. I'm going to quarter them just because I want a nice bite size, but I don't want it so big that it takes up your whole spoon is just potatoes. So you want a good size. So I'm just going to quarter them. And let's talk about, if you wanted to make this soup vegetarian, just don't put any meat in. If you want a really nice smoky flavor, that's where the bacon comes in. You can do applewood smoked, hickory smoked, and of course, if you love pork products, I've made this, you can use a ham hock, and you'd have to cook the ham hock with water and mirepoix and cook that for a good 2 hours because the ham hock takes a long time to really become tender. But I've made this with ham hock, which is delicious. I've also made this with duck confit, which is wonderful. I have a little bit of extra ham left over, so that's what I'm going to put in the soup. I can go ahead and put in my potatoes. I just want to make sure that I definitely got them all cut. So let's add the potatoes. And once again, do potatoes need salt? We absolutely do. So we can go ahead and add another pinch of salt. You want to season as you go along. Okay, so our last potato is going in. So let me just put a little pinch of salt for the potatoes. We want everything to be nice and flavorful. Okay, we'll let that cook a little bit. And I already mentioned to you that I like a little bit of heat in my soup. That's why I'm putting this in. It's also very good for you. So I'm just going to put about a half a teaspoon of chili flakes, but if you don't like that heat, certainly don't put it in. But this is when I will put it in, is right now. Just a half a teaspoon. There we go. So this you want to just let it go for about 2 more minutes. And then we can go ahead and add our garlic. So I'm going to put in my garlic next. Everything is softening up very, very nicely. Looks really good. Now I'll put in the garlic. This is 4 very plump garlic cloves, 4 good size. You just want to be able to smell the garlic, which I do. So we're in good shape here. And now what you want to do is add the cabbage. This looks great. So now let's put in our cabbage. We want to wilt the cabbage a little bit, about 3 minutes before adding our stock. And again, give it a stir. This is a good time to put in our thyme. We can put in our bacon. And we will add the ham. And then this was just about 4 ounces, just a little bit that was left over. Give that all a nice stir. Then our very last ingredient, I think you see how quickly this has come together. I'm going to attempt to come over and show it to you so that you can see what it looks like before I go ahead and add our stock. Once I put the stock in, we will let that cook for about 20 minutes. Okay, so there you've got a nice view of what all the vegetables look like, and everything is wilted down pretty nicely. So we can go ahead and add, I'm going to start with 8 cups of stock. I'll turn this on high and bring it to a boil, and then let it simmer for about 20 minutes. Now keep in mind, the peas will be added at the very end. There we have 4 cups and another 4 cups. And let's take a look and see. I think we could probably add, with the amount of vegetables I have in here, I do love broth in my soup. I like it nice and brothy. So I think I'm going to add another 2 cups of stock. You can either use stock, or you can even put a couple of cups of water in here if you want. Let me grab some more stock. I'll be right back. Okay, I have 2 cups of stock additional, so 10 cups total. So you're going to bring this to a boil, then lower it and let it simmer for about 20 minutes, and your soup is done. And if you have a chance to make it ahead of time, it will even taste that much better the next day. Okay, that's our 20-minute timer. And I just want to show you that I do always keep it partially covered because I don't want to lose too much broth. And if you leave it totally uncovered, the broth will reduce. So that's why I leave it partially covered. I do have some peas here. And if you're going to just have company and do the whole pot, just put the peas right in. And I heated these up, so I'm going to just put them directly into the soup. And I have some scallions and some fresh chives, and there's nothing more delicious than a fresh biscuit or a slice of good Italian bread or French bread. It's always nice to have a little bit of bread with your soup. Okay, so let's get some soup in here. This smells and looks delicious. And the little bit of meat that's in here is just enough. So you have your vegetables, you have your starch, you have your meat. It's perfect. Okay, I think that looks great. Then you can put your peas directly into your soup. As I said, it gives a nice sweetness to the soup along with the cabbage, and nice and bright too. You need a little brightness with winter. Okay, and a little bit of fresh chives. I like to throw that right into the broth. And then some nice sliced scallions right on the top. And if you love pepper, you can always finish your soup with a little bit of fresh ground black pepper. And there is your wonderful meal. Perfect for lunch, perfect for dinner. I'm going to try to come around and show it to you. It looks great. Okay. Wonderful. So this is the ham, cabbage, and potato soup. Well, thank you very much. And if you do like the cooking classes, please do subscribe and like, and I will be happy to continue. It's been my pleasure. See you again soon. Bye now.